This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. This is just a really quick video on a post that I saw on X today by Heather Louise. Apparently, she had posted something that was on Facebook detailing what actually went down in Paris with Meghan Markle. And I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I did find it extremely fascinating and entertaining, and I thought I would share. So get comfortable and let's get into this little story. It looks like the post was taken from Facebook, and again, I can't verify the claims being made in here, so, take it with a grain of salt and come to your own conclusion. But this person writes, "Let me tell you what really went down at Dior Paris. Meghan Markle just got blacklisted. When Meghan Markle touched down in Paris, she wasn't just visiting. She was staging a return. Her team called it a private fashion trip. But inside Dior's marble offices, staff were already briefed. There would be no meetings, no fittings, and no exceptions. Sources close to the house claimed her name had been quietly flagged. A note circulated weeks earlier advising no unscheduled appearances from the Duchess, all inquiries through legal. Still, Meghan arrived confidently, insisting she had an appointment for a couture session, but the list said otherwise. No entry, no reservation, and certainly no collaboration. What was meant to be a private reconnection turned into a polite, silent rejection. Within hours, whispers started circulating through Paris's fashion corridors. Dior turned her away. It wasn't public yet, but in fashion, word travels faster than press releases. People inside the building described the scene as frosted calm. No shouting, no scandal, just formality. Dior's communications lead stepped forward, confirmed there was no appointment, and wished her a pleasant day. For Meghan, it was more than an inconvenience. It was humiliation from the very house she had been chasing for months. Insiders later revealed her team had pitched multiple partnership ideas, everything from an ambassador deal to a modern Diana campaign. The proposals were glossy, ambitious, and written to position her as Dior's new symbol of legacy and rebellion. But inside Dior, the message didn't land the way she hoped. One executive allegedly said, "We dress legends. We don't create them from controversy." After that, her name disappeared from Dior's contact lists. The polite rejection that morning was simply the final act of a decision already made. Days later, the receipts surfaced. Leaked communication showing Meghan's outreach to Dior had been ongoing for months. Her final proposal reportedly included a statement comparing herself to Princess Diana's elegance, reimagined for a new generation. That was the breaking point. Dior's board didn't want a PR storm. They wanted distance. Behind closed doors, they voted to blacklist her from all pending collaborations, a move later mirrored by several other luxury labels. Then came the twist. As Dior executives tried to keep the matter private, social media lit up with sudden praise for Meghan's Dior style. Influencers repeated the same lines, the same hashtags, all curiously identical. Dior's internal investigators traced it back to agencies tied to Meghan's PR network. To Dior, it looked like an attempt to manufacture affiliation. After the rejection, within hours, the House released a brief, off-record statement to editors across Europe. In quotes, "Dior has no current or planned partnership with the Duchess of Sussex." End quote. One line, no further comment, it was calm, but it was final. In the world of couture, silence isn't peace, it's punishment. When Dior cut ties, it didn't end there. Instead, the LVMH network, the empire that owns Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, and Louis Vuitton, Meghan's name began circulating on an internal restricted list. These lists aren't public, but every major brand has them. Names too controversial, too unpredictable, or simply not worth the risk. Executives across houses reviewed their own plans and quietly followed suit. Givenchy, which once dressed her for royal events, was the first to back away. Chanel declined future pitches. Even stylists who once pulled luxury samples for her received subtle warnings. Avoid association. It wasn't personal, it was protection. The Duchess had become what the fashion world fears most, a PR liability in couture clothing. Paris didn't exile her publicly, it just stopped responding. And in that silence, the blacklist spoke louder than any headline. But Meghan wasn't about to accept defeat. Days later, she made a surprise appearance at Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show, a move meant to reassert her place among fashion's elite. The cameras clicked, the lights flashed, and for a moment, it looked like her redemption arc had arrived. Except it hadn't. Insiders at the show said the energy shifted the moment she walked in. You could feel the air freeze, one stylist whispered. Editors kept their distance. Designers turned politely cold. The applause that followed her entry was polite, not powerful. And while the photos looked glamorous, those who were there described it as awkward theater. No designer approached, no stylist offered congratulations. Behind the scenes, the real talk wasn't about her outfit. It was about how far she'd fallen from fashion's inner circle. The cameras caught her smile. Paris caught the silence. Backstage at Balenciaga, whispers began to spread, the kind Paris never forgets. Stylists and assistants traded quiet comments about the Duchess, not about her dress, not about her hair, but about something far less forgiving. One source described a heavy scent. Another mentioned too much perfume, like something was being covered. Whether true or exaggerated, it didn't matter. In fashion, gossip spreads faster than fragrance. By the time the after-party ended, the talk had left the building. Within hours, staffers from multiple brands were exchanging messages about it. Some dismissed it as cruel chatter. Others said it reflected the tension she brought into every room. The verdict wasn't about hygiene. It was about energy. Paris forgives arrogance. It forgives scandal. But it never forgives when the atmosphere turns heavy, literally or figuratively. And that night, the air around Meghan Markle was suffocating. Then came the moment that turned unease into outrage. After leaving the show, Meghan was seen filming near Pont de l'Alme Tunnel, the same tunnel where Princess Diana's life ended. Her team claimed it was just a scenic drive, but the city didn't buy it. For a woman who had publicly compared herself to Diana, the choice of location felt intentional. To many Parisians, it crossed a sacred line. Insiders whispered that she wanted to reclaim Diana's story, to draw an emotional parallel. But to those who lived through that tragedy, it was tone-deaf, even morbid. A senior stylist who once worked with Dior summed it up quietly. Diana's legacy belongs to memory, not marketing. That single drive, filmed or not, did more damage than any Dior rejection could. Because in Paris, the city that still mourns Diana, it felt like performance masquerading as tribute. By the end of Fashion Week, the illusion had shattered completely. People who once admired her boys now questioned her purpose. Balenciaga had not dressed her for the event. Her outfit was borrowed, not gifted. The shoes, simple black pumps, were the only genuine piece from the brand. The rest had been arranged through intermediaries, not the label itself. To the fashion elite, that was code for exclusion. No custom fittings, no courtesies, no personal touch. She wasn't a guest of honor. She was a guest of circumstance. And that's when Paris turned. editors who once flattered her began to keep their distance. Stylists declined requests. Even photographers stopped angling for her best side. It wasn't cruelty. It was quiet rejection. Because in Paris, they don't boo you out of the room. They just stop looking up when you enter it. When Meghan boarded her flight home, the cameras still flash, but the warmth behind them was gone. Paris had decided the Dior incident wasn't an isolated embarrassment. It was a reflection of something deeper, the illusion of belonging. She came to France believing she could rewrite her image, that couture could restore what controversy had taken. Instead, she discovered that style without authenticity is just costume. The Duchess, who once captivated the world, now stood at the edge of her own performance, stripped of applause. In chasing Diana's reflection, she lost her own. Paris doesn't reward imitation, it exposes it. One editor's note in Le Figaro captured the sentiment perfectly. The difference between Diana and Meghan was never just grace, it was truth. By the time she left the city, the whispers had turned to silence, not scandal, just conclusion. Because in the end, Meghan didn't walk out of Paris as fashion royalty. She walked out as a reminder that in a world of high couture, admiration cannot be demanded. It must be earned. And for Meghan Markle, Paris decided she'd earn only one thing: distance. The end. Make what you will of it, folks. But all I can say is that if there is even an ounce of truth to this, then just know that I don't think it's going to bother Meghan one bit. She's just going to carry on and continue to do what she always does, which is piss people off. I think every single day of this woman's life is about pissing people off. If it's not going to be in Paris because they blacklisted her, guess what? She's going to go try in New York. The one thing that I can say about Meghan Markle is that she's definitely not a quitter, and she's going to continue to keep doing what she always has been doing, whatever the hell she wants. But let's all just hope that one day Meghan will be held accountable and she will face the consequences for her bad behavior and actions. That's all we can pray for. You see, this kind of stuff I don't think Meghan really cares about. She's on to the next thing because she sees this as a challenge. Now she's going to go and prove Paris wrong by jetting off to New York and attending New York Fashion Week, saying, see, look what you're missing. That's the type of person that Meghan Markle is. I mean, this is a person who actually thought that by marrying Prince Harry and bringing him back to Hollywood, that all these opportunities to be an A-lister was going to fall at her feet. I mean, you got to work for it and you have to have some talent, but this woman has no talent and thought that just because she married into the British royal family, she was going to have every door open for her. And kind of come back and be like, see, I'm so much better than you because now I am a duchess. It's quite sad. And I'm not saying I'm feeling sad for her. I feel sad for these two children if they indeed do exist. I mean, look at the state of little Betty. She's sitting in this wagon. Her hair's not brushed. She's in pajamas. And Meghan couldn't care less. This is all for her Insta reel. It's so stupid. You see, the problem with Meghan is that no matter how much money she has or the materialistic things she can show off to the world, it's never enough. In my observation, it seems like Meghan's always watching and wanting what other people have instead of paying attention to what she currently has and appreciating it. It's sad that there are people like this that exist in the world. In a way, I'm actually glad that Harry and Meghan have money so that they can afford these nannies in order to raise these children for them. Because could you imagine if Meghan had to raise these children without help? Imagine how much more messed up they would be. I mean, it's sad that they're not with any family members and they're getting raised by Uncle Marcus. Okay. But at the same time, maybe that's better because if Meghan had to raise them herself, I think those kids would be far more abused in a sense, psychologically, from having this narcissistic parent. That's just my opinion. Just sharing some thoughts here, but what do you guys think? Do you believe this story about Paris? Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.